Move on. Item K, reports from Manager of Field Operations. There is none today. Item L, there is no reports from Parks and Rec Advisory Commission. I don't believe there's any reports from relevant commissioners, committees, boards, and/or task force. Which brings us to item N, our second session of general public commentaries. Anyone in the audience that wish to speak? Please state your name and make sure you sign in, sir.
I'm Christopher Graham. I live at 925 Aberdeen. Forgive me for being a ragamuffin. I've been out working today. I'm here to urge you to recommend to the council that it ends the relationship with the university for parking on Fuller Park. The protection of those trees out east of the VA hospital 20 years ago was quite a watershed event. It was very clear, should have been both to the VA and the university at that time, that those natural features were extraordinarily special to the people of the city of Ann Arbor. What are they? 10 to 15 bur oaks, our namesake tree, something like that kind of diameter, something like 250 years old. Clearly a grove of trees unlike anything else we have in Ann Arbor. We have a few big bur oaks in the old Ann Arbor North 4th Ward Historic District north of us here that are of similar age and size. They were Ann Arbor. This was much more of a collection of very nice trees that represented what bur oaks did here ecologically prior to the arrival of Europeans. It was absolutely stunning to find them in there. When Kim Waldo, the leader of the Sierra Club then, walked the right-of-way, planned right-of-way for the original location of Fuller Road, the bypass, you remember, that was built so the VA could add a parking structure and a hunk of building and remove Oakway. When he found those trees, he called me, and we walked up through there and were completely amazed at what we found in the midst of an unbelievable sea of buckthorn and honeysuckle. It was a watershed event. The pressure on the council was intense. Almost every council member walked in that woods one Saturday morning with Kim and I and saw the trees. Many of them wanted to know, well, how long will these trees live? And I said, well, probably longer than anyone here, by quite a bit. They can live to be 400 years old, 300 easily, unless some windstorm comes, and I would guess they're typically 250. It was a watershed event because at the same time I was commenting about the trees with Kim, I was commenting about buckthorn and honeysuckle and invasive species on our natural areas in the city. Kim Walder, bless his heart, went back to work, got a millage passed additional to the city's park millage, and began the natural areas program intended to manage invasive species on our parks. This was a big deal back there 20 years ago. The clients that I have who before that time knew nothing about invasive species and were resistant to me taking them out as part of my professional duties on their gardens now want them out. There's been a complete and total sea change in Ann Arbor. That was the watershed for when it happened. In my view, Fuller Park should be restored as a very fine prairie to match Dow Field, as an entry carpet to the $5 billion mass of buildings on the hillside across the railroad tracks. We do not need a building there. We don't need a train station there. We need a park there. It's just great counterpoint. It's a wonderful way to enter that whole medical complex. I would urge you to get out of that deal as soon as it expires, or as soon as the parking structure on Maiden Lane is open, whichever comes later.
Thank you, sir. Any further public commentary? Hearing on, there is no closed session. The transmittals are provided in your packet and listed on the agenda. So we move to item Q. Stand adjourned. Thanks everybody for coming.
Good job.